Sit down, Mom.
Still strikers,
All right, welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I think it's really soft. Okay, here we go. How about this one? Now I better use this one. Thank you very much for coming tonight to our State of the Town and then our reception. Thank you, staff, for helping get the reception set up. That was terrific. Nice opportunity to say hi to most everyone. I was going to do a secret handshaker as I just came from a Rotary meeting, but I forgot to do that, so we won't go there. But thank you, Council, for being here. I will wrap this up in 30 minutes. It's very difficult to cover everything in 30 minutes, but I'll do my darndest, and I'll try to look at the clock to make sure I'm close. And thank you, staff, for being here. Thank you, commissioners, for being here. I'm not sure if we got any former council members, former mayors, but welcome, and thank you for being here as well. Thank you to many volunteers that are here. We almost got all our seats filled up. It's nice to see. I'll get into the state of the town right away. Here's what we're going to go over tonight. I'll give the mandatory, it seems, financial breakdown of what's happening in our community, and we'll get on to some successes, highlights, challenges, and opportunities, and then what we're going to be doing moving forward. And, of course, this is from my perspective as the mayor. This is the mayor's State of the Town address. First of all, let's start off with something positive. Why are all these red shirts here? Because it's Friday tomorrow, and these people are just getting a jump start on their Red Shirt Friday. So stand up, Red Shirt Friday, folks, here in the audience today. Nice to see you guys. Just an example of the grassroots volunteer folks that support one another. In this case, you can see up there, it's the thanking the troops and keeping the troops top of mind. The VFW, American Legion, and the AMVETS are working together on many things. They're working on the red shirts now, and I know they've sold, what, Carol, over 1,000 so far? 2,155 red shirts already. And I know John couldn't be here tonight, but John, I have heard him speak previously, talking about wanting to have about 7,000 shirts on everyone's bodies on Fridays here in Fountain Hills, and ultimately maybe we'll get a big picture by the fountain with a helicopter flying over, and it'll be a sea of red instead of the grass being green. So we'll see. But a great effort to support our troops and to remember our veterans as well. First, financial makeup. This is not for the faint of heart. Not much new news. In fact, this is last year's slide. The revenues continue to decline, although this year we expect it to level out. We will start our next fiscal year in July, when we just started our budget discussions, so we'll be getting into that now. But it's really declined greatly, as you can see from the graph. Why is that? The building permits. This is also last year's slide. Nothing really has changed here. Of a high of 240 building permits, rocking and rolling in Fountain Hills, that generated a lot of construction sales tax, which really is a big component of our operating budget, down to 5 or so over the last couple of years, virtually at a standstill. What did we have to do? We had to make some significant adjustments, obviously, in our staffing and in other areas. Here's an example of where the staffing is. I think right now, as of today, we're at about 58.5 full-time equivalent staff, 58.5 from 58 or 88, so we're down about 30 over 3 years or so. So significant losses in staff, and we lost a lot of great people. But something we had to do to manage through it. We made some real tough decisions, and we're a municipality or a government that really made decisions proactively and earlier than what others did. I think that's helped us greatly. Here's just a snapshot of property taxes. We're talking about where does the money come from to operate the community. This is it's not an easy one to read, but the very top there, you got a 3% figure there over the town of Fountain Hills. This is a snapshot of 2009. 2010 is just about the same, 3%. It's actually just under 3% comes into the town of Fountain Hills from your property taxes to function the town. Most folks assume that property taxes go to fund local government. They do fund other elements that we benefit from, certainly, sanitary district, the county, and the schools in particular. So just something for folks to know. Where do the funds go? The monies go here in Fountain Hills largely to public safety. Almost half of the budget goes to public safety. If you include the courts, it's right at about half. The rest goes to pay for everything else. And the general fund is where we pay for operations and, you know, and to keep up streets, keep up parks, you name it. Development services and community services are our two new departments. In the reductions and reorganizations of last year, we went from 4 departments to 2. And that's what this reflects. Where do the dollars go? The smallest part there, the 5%, is for council and court costs. The 11% is for development services, 17% for administration, 21% for community services. And as I mentioned, the other half is public safety. Here is where the revenues come from. You can see the largest piece there is local sales tax. As I mentioned with construction tax, construction being slow, that really affects greatly the budget here in Fountain Hills. So do retail activities that drive sales tax. So if you stop spending money here in Fountain Hills, we have to start spending less money here in Fountain Hills as well, which we've already gone from roughly an $18 million budget down to about a $12.5 million budget over the last 3 years. So that's where the sales tax dollars come from primarily, or 52% from local sales tax, 19% from state income tax, and 14% from the state sales tax. And the other 8% are from fees and licenses, and then the vehicle license tax is the smallest portion there. Let me just go back. The pieces in red are the most volatile pieces, and they've been the largest pieces that have been affected by the economy and this recession we've been in. The 14 and the 19% illustrate the pieces that come from the state legislature as they pass through funds to the cities and towns in Arizona, and it makes up that much of our budget. So you can see the economy drives the budget here in Fountain Hills, and that's why it's been reduced by so much. But I think the challenges have been met greatly, and I want to talk a little bit about that before we get into other items outside of the finances. The town, I'm very proud to say, has maintained our savings. We've even maintained our rainy day fund. In fact, that was started during the recession. We have not even touched the rainy day fund, and these have been some of the most troubling times financially that most towns and cities haven't seen since the Depression. We have not raised Fountain Hills citizens' taxes. We did raise the bed tax. That's the one tax we did raise. Really, how we've gotten through this, as you saw the reductions in staff from 88 to just over 58 now, full-time equivalent staff folks, is because of the amazing employees we've got here. The innovations, the service, the care that they've delivered is phenomenal. So our town staff, whenever you see them around the town, I don't think they probably hear it enough, just thank our town staff for working so hard. And I'll illustrate a couple examples as we go on tonight, but I won't have nearly enough time to highlight most of them. And our town manager, Rick Davis, is doing a great job in helping to lead staff as well as our directors. The council, you guys, you made some real tough but real smart decisions as a council, and I lift you guys up because we're facing items related particularly to the budget that we haven't faced before and probably not likely to face again. But overall, the town is diligently managing through the toughest recession since the Great Depression, and we're doing so in a way that's, I think, largely not showing a great deal of impact to our citizens, our visitors, and our guests that are here, and that's because of all the care, and it's also because of a great deal number of volunteers that lift up to help. This year we also said goodbye to quite a few folks, as I mentioned, not just through the reorganization and having to let staffing go. We also had one fellow move over to the west side, Captain Kleinites, and then we had someone move up to the federal bench, and Ted Armbruster. And yes, he's holding a bag of Depends there, because he and Captain Kleinites are such good friends. It was, I'm sure, some sort of joke, but I don't remember. There are so many of them. But this is an illustration that, Captain Kleinites moved over closer to home, and Judge Armbruster is following his passions to serve even at a higher level. So I'm sure they're both doing terrific, but I also wanted to mention we do miss a lot of the former employees we had here that also did a great job. On to the highlights and successes. I know we may have a couple folks here. If you're here, please stand up. Beata, are you here? Or Justin, are you here? There they are. They don't want to stand up. That's okay. You don't need to stand up. Justin, thanks for being here. Beata, thanks for being here. I just wanted to highlight a couple of things. Obviously, there's many to mention, but here are two pretty phenomenal innovations that came through this year, and they're needed, and they're going to continue. Beata is our Munis software program, WIZ, which is the financial system that we have adopted here at the town of Fountain Hills. It's helped us to do a lot of innovative, and we've had a lot of unique ways to look at our budget, which helps us to make good decisions, particularly in program budgeting. But she's created a program to track encroachment permits, and in 2010 the town received $85,000 that we found of in lieu payments. So Beata brought that in to the bottom line to help us to serve, parks and rec, streets, and other programs and services and around our community. So thank you, Beata. Justin is right back here as well. Justin did a couple of things I just thought I'd note. He had negotiated with ADOT in securing some meters for the projects on the new project and the signals there on Shea and Fountain Hills Boulevard, and that was outstanding for them to have that included in their budget and not ours. And he also had some new gauging power meters, usage meters installed. That's going to save us $700 per month per signal. So significant savings. That really adds up. And also an innovation recently reaped $30,000 in a rebate from SRP. So thank you, Justin. And this just illustrates the staff's work. And these guys have a great morale going on despite the challenges that they face every single day. So thank you very much. I mean, you can't get much more than saving someone's life, and we highlighted this a couple of months back at our council meeting, but I'm not sure if, I know Reno's here, not sure if anyone from the the chief is here tonight from the fire department, and you may have recalled back in November 2010 at the community center we had a woman that was falling ill, and it was the reaction of Reno Getty. Reno, where are you? I know you're here. There you are, right here. Sorry, Reno, right in front of me. Reno Getty recognized that there was something wrong. This woman didn't want help. Probably most of us, I'm fine. He insisted on it, and then a call to 911 was made. The chief's team came over, Captain Brunin, firefighter Scott Prentice, EMT Bill Steinke, and paramedic Mike Dowie came and decided to hook her up to some machines. She was rushed to Scottsdale Healthcare, where because of the great equipment that these folks have, she didn't go to ER. She went right to the cath lab, where she subsequently had a heart attack, and they had to revive her on the table. Had they not been there, had Reno not made the observation and the chief and his team taken the right steps, we'd have one less resident in Fountain Hills. So that's a great thing. We're not getting through this without great partnerships. Here's just a sampling of our partnerships. We get through things. We share resources. We share ideas. We share staff. Now with some of these folks, so they do pay for it, by the way. We don't just give our staff away, but they help us to supplement cost of employees when they need services so that they don't have to hire some services. That was through the sanitary district just put together an MOU for us to work with them on GIS matters, so that was a terrific way to do things. But partnerships are very important. I had to repeat this from last year because it's a fun picture, it's from Oktoberfest, and it just highlights the importance of small town activities and quality that we have here. But the organizations really make all things happen here in Fountain Hills. The town facilitates and helps make things easier, hopefully, to have fun and raise money for worthy causes. Another success, and I'm not sure if we've got anybody from the MMPC Commission here, the Now Mountain Preservation Commission here tonight, but these guys worked along with the Sonoran Conservancy and our staff and the McDowell Mountain Regional Park and the county themselves to gain access to our Fountain Hills McDowell Mountain Preserve. So that was a great feat. We cooperated and had a ribbon connecting ceremony in the year 2010, and I think it was in March, and we had a great time. And I just think the collaboration that affected us getting access to our preserve, and now you can get in there. So enjoy it. The Sister Cities organization had their state convention in Fountain Hills, a great coup that Sharon Morgan, former mayor, and the Sister Cities organizations grabbed, and there's a picture of a bunch of folks at the convention. And then we also took opportunity with all those folks there to have a parade of flags with our sister cities. So that's the picture below. Of course, the American flag is the highest and the most prominent. Business success. This was probably in the challenge category, but we are seeing a bit of a trend in retail sales going up slightly, largely in the restaurant and areas. So we need to really shop locally. If anybody's out there that drives over the hill, please make every effort you can to find what you need here in our community. It not only helps the businesses here in town, but those sales taxes come back in to help the town to maintain services that you probably value. Also, those dollars that are spent here have a multiplying effect because they're spent here with a local owner. Those local owners are hiring local people, your neighbors perhaps, and then those local owners are spending dollars in Fountain Hills. So once dollars leave Fountain Hills, they really don't come back. So it's really important, not just because of the great quality service and unique shops and services we have here in Fountain Hills. It's just important, and it's to be a community member. So shop locally wherever you can. We are moving forward on our downtown vision. I added implementation there because it's not on the shelf gathering dust, as many studies and reports turn into. So this is something that we're implementing. We are waiting for the capital markets to some extent to open back up for developers to come in and execute on some projects. But this is something we could be very proud of. We actually did the visioning last year with the Chamber of Commerce and stakeholders from around the area, and it was a tremendous operation led by Vern Swaback and Swaback Partners, who have quite a bit of knowledge of Fountain Hills. But Downtown Vision, who's not familiar with it, it's basically the entire downtown area. What do we want it to look like when we grow up? How do we fill in these empty teeth of pieces of land without anything on them in our downtown? And how do we not just wait for things to happen on a hodgepodge basis? Let's have a plan, let's move forward, and that's what this helped us to get in our toolbox. Volunteers, as I mentioned, are a huge part of the success in Fountain Hills. Now there's over 700, I think last year was over 600, and there's hundreds more in these service organizations that many of you are a part of. So Give a Lift is a great one that we may have mentioned in the past. Give a Lift is a group of volunteers that now get over 40 people rides around the community and over to the Mayo Clinic for doctor's visits. But folks that don't have a ride now rely on volunteers, where they used to rely on services from the county or that the town helped supplement financially. So thank you very much to the volunteers. The volunteers in our community are young and old. Here's an example, August 2010. Who knows Brent Myers? Brent Myers started taking care of the sculptures. He took care of George the Turtle and Bob the Frog. And he was awarded Volunteer of the Month. So it's not just the seniors that are volunteering, it's the kids as well and everyone in between. So thank you. Another great organization that's working hard, and it actually came from the downtown visioning plan, is the greening of our downtown. You're probably very familiar with it, but this is a collaborative effort between the Chamber, Civic and Cultural, towns, schools, you name it. Every organization is really plugged into the greening of Fountain Hills. They've done some great projects already. They're looking to fill the entire fountain full of trees, not completely, but hundreds of trees to provide shade to the walking paths, places to stop, and some additional character and picnic areas. So I don't know if Jerry, are you here? Jerry, I know you're going to speak to us later on, but thank you very much for being project lead and working so hard on this as a volunteer. So appreciate everyone that's working on it and raising funds as a charitable organization. So this is just an example of a ribbon cutting that we had more recently, and then if you're down by Plaza Fountain side, just behind Euro Pizza, you'll see a couple of columns there where the folks that have donated a significant amount of money have their names there, and it's very nice looking. They also help with the garden that demonstrates the desert landscaping by the playground. The same group did that, as well as the tree plantings in several areas, and more to come as long as more funding keeps coming in. So a great organization to support if you haven't gotten involved already. The Easter Extravaganza. I just thought I'd highlight it. It's been going on for years. The Goyennas have been underwriting it. It's not inexpensive because there are thousands of eggs. This is just an example of some of the eggs. Brian, how many eggs are there total now? 15,000 eggs. One good thing is they come stuffed already with the prize. We don't have to open each egg. But we do have to take them from one thing and put them in another, and then you have to distribute them on 3 baseball fields in Golden Eagle Park, because we could probably use 6 baseball fields with all the folks that show up. But 15,000 eggs, these are some of the Mayor's Youth Council folks helping, and some other youth that help to distribute the eggs on a very early morning. They don't like getting up that early. Here's just some families there enjoying it before the melee. And let me just say no to this. There the Goyennas are. Any Goyennas here tonight? Who's here? Hey, Joe. Hey, Carol. Thanks so much. Yes, Joe.
Find it 2 years in a row. Take a wild guess as to how long it takes to pick up those eggs on 3 baseball fields. What? Make it a short time. 2 minutes. A minute and a half.
Well, I called it the fastest 75 seconds on turf. But in case you haven't seen it, I thought I'd show you just a little video.
We have a bunny rabbit here.
This is somewhat graphic. No one was harmed. Not sure if I have volume on here. But here's just a video. Here, okay, they did the countdown, and here come the kids. This is just one field of the 3. There are thousands of eggs on each field. There are hundreds of kids, maybe thousands. I don't know where they come from. Probably Glendale. Thousands of eggs, 4,000 on each field, roughly, are picked up and gone in 75 seconds. Maybe 90 seconds. If you haven't seen it, I thought you'd appreciate, just from my perspective, I did not get harmed, thankfully. Thank you, Goyennas. No to that. Moving forward. Oh, let me just mention a couple other things. We're approaching the Arizona Centennial, 100 years. We just turned 99 on Valentine's Day, and next Valentine's Day we'll turn 100. We've got a great committee led by some of the council members, some of the staff and public that are working to have 100 events here in Fountain Hills, mostly events that are already existing that we're going to brand under the Centennial, but some new ones as well. Also a circle, the circle between the library and the community center is being planned for a Centennial Circle, and it'll illustrate the first 100 years and what makes Arizona significant, as well as have a nice logo there. And there's great efforts, volunteers primarily working on that, and also a collaboration of town monies and other organizations' monies, which is thankful. Public art, we're looking at having 100 pieces of public art. I say we as the collective Fountain Hills community, because the town of Fountain Hills, the government, doesn't pay for public art. There's a couple pieces here at Town Hall where we did pay for it, but of the 90-plus pieces now, I think we paid for 3. So we have to thank the Public Arts Committee and the Civic and Cultural Association and all the donors, and Jerry and Jackie Miles in particular, for leading a great effort to bring public art. And I know we're renowned now for public art in the United States, and that's something that will continue to grow and will continue to leverage. And then also want to mention the Fountain Hills. Is Carol Grow here? Carol, you're here. I'm going to butcher up the name of your organization, the Fountain Hills Coalition Against Youth Substance Abuse Prevention. Not against substance abuse prevention, but substance abuse youth against, prevention of substances within our youth. A great organization that just has really engaged the community and has done a lot of great things to bring awareness and facts to parents to be aware of the dangers, and to also educate our young ones about the dangers as well, particularly at a young age. They've just recently had an essay contest. They had their awards. I was fortunate enough to be able to be a judge at those. Speaking of judges, we have our new judge here. Judge Eisenberg, it's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for joining our team. We look forward to seeing your family this summer. Very good. If you haven't met Judge Eisenberg outside of the court, please say hello. I don't encourage you to see him inside the court. He's a great guy and has a great community spirit as well. But the Fountain Hills Coalition, 260 essays have come in, and we reviewed them, and it was hard to pick, but we picked the top 3 and the top 15, I think it was, and just a great effort. So just another organization that's out there doing great things for our community. Moving forward, just a bit of a vision that I have for Fountain Hills. Probably lines up with yours as well. But Fountain Hills is going on into 10 years, maybe from now till 10 years. We're going to continue to be known as a safe, fun, invigorating community. We're a nurturing and beautiful community, and that's much of what we already are today. There's just going to be even more of it. Downtown is thriving, and vibrant businesses and an outdoor environment are welcoming to everyone. There is a waiting list to rent space on the Avenue of the Fountains. There's a visitor center down by the fountain. Multiple generations of families live and make roots here in Fountain Hills. Schools continue to excel in teaching our youth. We have a local college. Fountain Park is flourishing. Big, quality, successful events have grown, and the new Fountain Amphitheater is hopping. The environment is cared for, and we are a mecca for outdoor physical recreation and competition. And we will continue to be the pinnacle of quality small-town living. Thank you very much.